It's a MeatEater podcast.
Welcome to MeatEater Trivia, the only game show where conservation always wins. I'm your host, Spencer Neuharth, and today we're joined by Steve, Randall, Nate, Logan, Matt, and Nick Tapia. Nick, this is first time on the show. Tell folks what you do here at MeatEater.
First of all, thanks for having me. It's been a long time. I've been waiting for this invite, and finally got it. But I'm the senior brand producer. I work really closely with the folks at First Light, FHF, Phelps, DSD, MeatEater Store. But I've worn a lot of hats here, but working kind of with a camera in hand. So that's kind of what I do.
I'll tell you one hat you ain't worn. Trivia champion.
He has not worn that hat. Let me tell you my favorite thing about Nick. My favorite thing about Nick, he's a Nuggets fan. Nick is the only other Nuggets fan in my life. Whenever I want to talk about the Nuggets, I got to text Nick about it. So it's Nick, glad you work here.
It's on my text. It's my wife. Then Spencer is a close second. It's bad.
I'd be a lonely Nuggets fan.
So do you guys say? You guys will say stuff like, "Hey, they won."
Yes, exactly like that.
Spencer gets deep into the analytics. It's very nerdy.
Yeah, I need an outlet, and Nick is that outlet for Nuggets chatter. Now, this is a 10-round quiz show with questions from MeatEater's 4 verticals, which are hunting, fishing, conservation, and cooking. And there is a prize. MeatEater will donate $500 to the conservation organization of the winner's choosing. For the stat of the week this week, we're updating our donation tracker through the podcast, board games, expansion packs, the live tour, and sponsors. MeatEater Trivia has now donated $160,000 to more than 20 different conservation organizations. A big thanks to our partners at Onyx, Yeti, Athletic Brewing, and of course, MeatEater for making sure that conservation always wins. $160,000 to conservation. Here's our infrequently asked questions segment. If you have a trivia-related question for our crew, send it to trivia@themeateater.com with the subject line IFAQ. Tom Stanford says, is the Shelby Index still accurate? I looked into that in the past, and it was accurate then. I think it's still probably accurate enough now. More so, one of the most common pieces of feedback I get about the Shelby Index is that is what people compete against that week. If they don't feel like they're strong players, they just want to beat the Shelby Index. So that now exists as much for those folks. It gives them a barometer as it does for predicting the outcome of a game.
Nate's drawn a little blue crab.
Yep.
And Nate,
He's struggling with the back legs.
They're tough, man.
We have another new player in the room this week. It's Fancy Nate. Nate, for those aren't watching, tell them what you're wearing.
A shout out to my Korean tailor, Lim. Sends me a Christmas card every year. I'm wearing some linen pants, a vest, and a tweed jacket, and a wool tie.
Korean
He puts
tailor.
the linen back in linen.
I was going to say you sort of lost your underdog status when you told people that you have a tailor. It's not very relatable.
Well, listen, dude, the only reason I have a tailor is because labor in Korea is like an eighth of the price as it is in the States.
You do not get a Christmas card from your tailor in Korea.
I will find it and bring it in.
Okay, please do that.
It's one of the greatest.
And
things.
We can hang it in here.
Do you send your tailor a Christmas card as well?
I don't because I can't figure out the postal service going back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. One-way street, that relationship, I guess.
Well, I did give him money for a jacket, so two-way street.
We have some housekeeping to get
Are
to.
you regretting your choice yet?
No, I've confirmed my choice.
Nate said he's going to upgrade his wardrobe every time he wins trivia. So I don't know where this ends at, but
monocle?
he's already elevated to a 3-piece suit.
I need some beaver for a top hat.
Like the Monopoly man.
Yeah.
We have some housekeeping to get to. In previous episodes, we've talked about the potential thievery by the New York Times and Jeopardy, with clues that were suspiciously similar to those on MeatEater Trivia. Well, it happened again. On the January 15 episode of the podcast, I had this question, quote, this Kentucky bourbon fittingly got its name after a distillery executive went on his annual bird hunt in 1940. The answer was wild turkey. Then, on the March 18 New York Times crossword, they had a clue that said, quote, bourbon brand whose name originated from a hunting expedition. The answer was, of course, wild turkey. So 2 months later, for the second time, they had a clue that was almost word for word.
Those mother lickers do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll cover subjects on the podcast a bunch, and then we'll be like Wyoming corner crossers, and all of a sudden they'll all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Now, here's my offer to you, New York Times.
I'm going to prank them.
Since I know you're listening.
I'm going to talk about something that's not real and watch they'll come up with an article about it.
I won't sue you for stealing my trivia, and you don't sue us for having a new game called MeatEater Turtle. It's like Wordle, but better. You can go play it right now at themeateater.com/games.
It is better.
It is better, says Nate, a daily Wordle player and now a weekly Turtle player as well. Now, the Shelby Index for today is a 4, so our winner should get 8 correct answers. And with that, we're on to the game of trivia. Play the drop, Phil.
Look, I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything.
How's that?
You stand to win everything.
Game on, suckers!
Question 1, the topic is wildlife, and as always, this will be multiple choice. Which state is the American bullfrog not native to? Is it Oregon, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, or Illinois?
I did an abbreviation.
Okay.
Decibel meter high on that one.
Very quick to answer. Which state is the American bullfrog not native to? Your 4 choices: Oregon, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, Illinois. Steve is confident. Nate, do you have this one right?
I got to guess.
How about you, Randall?
Got a guess.
Okay. Steve, the only confident player. Is everybody ready? Mm-hmm. Go ahead and reveal your answers. We've got Randall saying Oregon. Nick says Oregon. Matt says New Hampshire. Logan and Nate and Steve say Oregon. They got it. The correct answer is Oregon. Bullfrogs. Go for it.
I had a conversation about this today.
Oh.
But not about that specifically, but bullfrogs.
Okay. I wrote this trivia question last week, so maybe you're
No, I mean,
thieving
not
it
about
from
like
me.
Oregon or anything, but about bullfrogs.
Bullfrogs are native to 38 states, with their native range stretching from central Maine to eastern New Mexico. They are considered a significant invasive species in the western U.S., where they prey on and outcompete native animals. Question 2, the topic is conservation. This 11-letter word is defined as the, quote, practice of growing a single crop species in a given area for a consecutive number of seasons. This is question 2. The topic is conservation. This 11-letter word is defined as the practice of growing a single crop species in a given area for a consecutive number of seasons. Randall, the only player with an answer. Steve has joined him now.
Me and Randall are neck and neck.
Okay, you got this one right. Mm-hmm. Seemed like you had to think about it a little longer.
No, I didn't.
than Randall. No, okay, you're just counting your
No,
letters.
He wrote slow.
Not only that, I write the numbers out
Okay.
to prove it.
11-letter word that's
Show my work.
defined as the practice of growing a single crop species in a given area for a consecutive number of seasons. Our other 4 players are stumped. Nate, did you come up with an 11-letter word?
Yeah.
Okay. But you don't care for that 11-letter word.
I kind of, you'll see.
Nate even did his hair today,
Did you find
too.
yourself trying to add letters that you didn't know were in there?
Yeah, I kind of changed the like format of the word.
11-letter word. Matt, Logan, how you doing?
1 second, counting.
1 second, okay. Nick, how about you? Do you have a chance?
No, I'm way off.
Okay. Logan, do you give up?
No, I've got it good. I think I got it.
Good.
You think you
good,
got it?
Good.
Okay. Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Randall saying monoculture. Nick says, what's that say?
Heritage X-wise?
I think that's 11 letters.
Matt says no idea. Logan says monoculture. Nate says monocropping.
Cropping.
Cropping.
That's what I had down.
And Steve says monoculture. The correct answer is monoculture.
Hold up.
I had monocropping, but I had 2 P's in there. I was like, well, it's not with a singular P. Cropping.
Monoculture farming has become more popular since the advent of low-cost nitrogen fertilizers. However, the practice is largely contrary to the principles of ecology. Monocultures reduce biodiversity, increase a crop's vulnerability to pests and disease, and cause soil degradation. But for farmers, having a monoculture increases efficiency, is easier to manage, and has higher profits.
And you don't got to wonder what you're going to plant next year.
That's right. It's a pretty simple rotation if you're, or not a rotation at all. Question 3, the topic is fishing. This next great question is via Rob Frey. This New England state has a rifle hunting season for pike and pickerel.
What?
This New England state has a rifle hunting season.
Do you know this, Randall?
For pike and pickerel. This is question 3. Randall and Logan have an answer. Steve does not.
I've never even heard of this.
Oh, I have heard of this. Now I think about it.
I've heard of it in this room.
Oh, wow.
Trivia?
There's a hint.
No.
No.
I think we talked about it on a podcast at some point. I don't know why I'm helping you.
Only the host of that podcast
Hopefully.
is here. Maybe he'd get that right. This New England state has a rifle hunting season for pike and pickerel.
There was one trivia question where they asked what state something was, and I put New England as a state, and Brody was like, "That's not a state, Logan." So apparently, my knowledge of New England is poor. So we'll see if the state that I wrote down is actually.
You were
in
very
New
quick to
England.
answer. Did you just not want to think about it too hard?
No, I based it off of something that I've read on the website.
Oh,
but,
okay.
I don't know if it's in New England. Probably.
All right. Steve, how do you like your answer?
I'm just trying to think. There's one little place. I don't know if it counts as New England.
Okay. Is everybody ready?
One sec.
Do you know the New England states, Nate?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a tailor in Korea, of course.
He has
Of course he
travel.
knows the
He has a
states.
summer home in one of them. Come on.
Are you ready, Nate?
See, I feel like this is where I falter. Randall's going to pull ahead.
Go ahead and
I'm just
reveal
gonna leave.
your answers. We have Randall saying New Hampshire. Nick says Maine. Matt says Massachusetts. Logan says New Jersey. Nate crossed out New Hampshire and wrote Vermont. Steve says New Hampshire.
Got to tell you my thinking.
Yes.
You got to think of a state. What state could be in New England where they would let you shoot guns at fish?
The Freedom State.
And it's not going to be Massachusetts.
That's a great
They won't let you shoot guns at targets, barely.
The correct answer is Vermont.
Oh, no!
Nate.
Dress for success.
Fancy Nate got that
Dress
one
for
right.
the score you want, not the score you got.
Oh, yeah, brother.
The
Shout out to Lim.
The Vermont rifle fishing season runs from March to May and allows hunters to shoot pike, pickerel, gar, carp, shad, bowfin, suckers, bullhead, and other species labeled as cullfish. The season was killed by lawmakers in 1969, but then revived the following year. For more on this practice, go read Pat Durkin's article on the MeatEater.com called America's Strange History of Rifle Hunting for Pike. And you have talked about that on the podcast before, briefly, and we do have an article on our website that covers the whole thing.
I was thinking the same thing as you. Live free or die.
What score you got now?
Good for Vermont. Question 4, the topic is cooking.
Neck and neck.
These places gained notoriety in 2020 and are defined as, quote, a market where fresh meat, fish, fruit, vegetables, and sometimes live animals are sold. These places gained notoriety in 2020 and are defined as a market where fresh meat, fish, fruit, vegetables, and sometimes live animals are sold. Steve, Nate, Randall all look confident. Matt, you have this one right as well?
I'm sitting on a joke. I'm sitting on a joke because I don't want to reveal any answers.
Okay. Steve's got a joke if that helps you, Logan or Nick. This is question 4, and the topic is cooking. These places gained notoriety in 2020 and are defined as a market where fresh meat, fish, fruit, vegetables, and sometimes live animals are sold.
This is a great question.
Oh, thank you, Nate. Nick, we're waiting on you.
Would you say the same thing if you didn't know the answer?
Probably not.
Okay. Logan, how do you feel about your answer?
I'm between two of them, but I feel like the one I wrote down seems more reasonable.
Okay.
But I feel like they've been around for longer than 2020.
No.
Gained notoriety
I
in
know.
2020.
Cut the chit chat.
Waiting on Nuggets superfan Nick. Do you give up?
I just have market stuck in my head because
Okay.
that's where you would buy those things.
A market where fresh meat, fish, fruit, vegetables, and sometimes live animals are
let's go.
sold.
Let's go.
Okay.
Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Randall saying wet markets. Nick says farm. Matt says farmer's market. Logan, farmer's market. Nate says wet market. Steve says wet market. The correct answer is wet market. While wet markets serve fresh foods, dry markets sell household goods such as fabrics, kitchenware, and electronics. They also play a crucial role in the exotic animal black market. The Wuhan lab that some agencies believe was the source of COVID is located about 10 miles from the wet market where the first cases were detected. Steve, would you like to share your joke?
I hadn't really gotten it all the way worked out, but I was going to tie it into Nate here going to the tailor in Korea.
Yeah, Lim also owns
Cutting
a
through
wet
the
market.
wet market. You know, I don't know. I hadn't worked it out yet.
What about your Taylor, would you say?
Yeah, he also owns a wet market.
Oh, owns like the whole property
No,
or like
that's
a
a
little
total lie.
booth? Okay. Question 5, the topic is hunting. This next great question is via Brad Hankins.
I noticed you said some people think it was lab leak. What do you think?
No, I said the Wuhan lab that some agencies believe.
Yeah,
I
what
feel
do you
like,
think?
well, when I read the thing last year, I felt like they polled on 8 agencies or something like that. And I think it was kind of split on the answer. And the people who did give an answer, who didn't just like say, I don't know, said low confidence.
Yep.
And so I think it was like split in that.
It's becoming, I think when you look at the scan of agencies that have looked into it, it's coming, I think it is definitely tipped
Seems like it
to
has.
a lab leak. Yeah.
I think it'll
It used to be
also
naughty to say that. This is over observed, but it was naughty to say that.
it'll also depend what political parties in the White House, I think, based on what those agencies will say it was.
But doesn't it seem like a bat market would be a good place to get sick?
Question.
I mean, it's not illogical, right? I got sick at the bat market.
Well, it is.
I'd be like, yeah,
it
I
could have
picture
still
that.
come from the lab and then got
Jumped to the bat market.
jumped to there's like what, raccoon dogs or something like that, or a bat or a pangolin. Question 5. The
Can I
topic is
sample
hunting.
the bat, please?
This next great question is via Brad Hankins. This duck is named after its long pointed tail feathers that make up 25% of a drake's body length.
Oh my God.
Steve thinks it's stupid and too easy. Nate and Matt and Randall and Steve all appear to be confident.
If I get this wrong, I'm walking out.
Okay. You're making our newest player, Nick, feel bad about
That's
himself.
it.
I'm sorry.
That's an unusual thing to happen. Rarely do people walk out of this, just so you know.
After this one, I might.
This duck is named after its long pointed tail feathers that make up 25% of a drake's body length.
And here I was thinking the drake was a type of duck.
Logan revisited his whiteboard. Did you change your answer?
I did.
Okay.
I
Does
don't.
the chit chat?
I don't know. No, it was him reading the question again.
Oh.
No, I've never duck hunted, so I don't really know much about ducks.
Aspiring
I've never
duck
penguin
hunter.
hunted, but I know a penguin.
Well, you know what? I think you spend a lot more time thinking about animals than I do.
This duck is named after its long
Touche.
pointed tail feathers that make up 25% of a drake's body length. Is everybody ready? Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have we have Randall saying
Oh, the whole room.
pintail. Everyone says pintail. Everyone got it right. The correct answer is a northern pintail. Now, what did you know about pintails, Nick? You impressed me there.
I at least got to get that. But I'm curious, Steve. Have you read The Endurance, where those guys go around clubbing
No,
penguins?
I'm aware, but no.
I would like to try that out.
It's on my to be read list.
I played a lot of baseball. I'm good with the club.
Do you feel drawn to fur seal? You know that too. Just hitting them on the head.
Yeah.
The Shackletonian impulse.
Yeah, like a certain tourism, a certain type of tourism, which is all based around stick harvest.
Pintails are one of the continent's most widespread ducks, ranging from Alaska to Central America. The pintails with the longest tail feathers are breeding males. Phil has a picture of one to show you their iconic tail feather.
Hell yeah, Phil.
There's a pretty pintail.
Now, didn't you know what was? I was wondering if it would maybe throw anybody off. Is you know how old squaws were renamed, at least by the Ornithological Society, weren't they renamed in a longtail? What's an old squaw now?
I don't know.
Long-tailed duck, I think. Or is that wrong?
The other part of the
Search that up on
question
your
you would have to
computer
satisfy is that it makes up 25% of a drake's body length.
Well, notice I didn't write it down. I'm just saying.
Okay. We're halfway through the game of trivia. Phil, give us a scoreboard update.
In last place, you've got Matt. He has 1 point.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, the old squaw is now a long-tailed duck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coming up next is Nick, new player Nick with 2. Then Logan has 3 points. And tied up in first place with 4 points apiece are Randall, Steve, and New Money Nate. I was thinking about Nepo Nate, but I didn't know if his parents had any power or generational wealth. So.
Definitely not.
He's Nate with benefits. No
money.
longer the intern.
Flashy.
Question 6. The topic is cooking. Paul Ryan, who served as this state's congressman for 20 years, shared his venison meatloaf recipe in the 2017 cookbook, A Meatloaf in Every Oven.
Well, what's the question?
You're looking for the state. Paul Ryan, who served as this state's congressman for 20 years, shared his venison meatloaf recipe in the 2017 cookbook, A Meatloaf in Every Oven. Randall, very quick to answer. Randall, you have this one right.
Yes.
This is question 6. Paul Ryan, who served as this state's congressman for 20 years, shared his venison meatloaf recipe in the 2017 cookbook, A Meatloaf in Every Oven. I'm jealous we didn't come up with that cookbook idea first. A Meatloaf in Every Oven. It's a cookbook of just meatloaf recipes. Steve, do you have your answer narrowed down to something?
Well, I got it narrowed down to 3 states.
Okay. Paul Ryan, who served as this state's congressman for 20 years, shared his venison meatloaf recipe in the 2017 cookbook, A Meatloaf in Every Oven. Nick, you have an answer. Are you confident or are you just guessing?
Just throwing a dart.
Just guessing. 1 in 50 chance.
A little better than that.
Okay.
Nate, do you have something written down?
2 some things.
Gotcha.
Randall, concerned about Nate.
No, it's just,
over there.
it's a very
Is that sweat on your
non-committal.
Get nervous?
No. No, and actually, I probably need to back off. I've seen some comments to the effect that I give Nate too hard of a time.
Oh, really?
I'd just like you to tell the audience that we actually have a very collegial relationship.
Yeah, tell
I'd like to
bully
tell
him
the audience to
into-
stop being soft.
Bully Nate into telling people how nice you are, Randall.
Yeah, do it. Do it now.
Help.
Again, we're on question 6. We're trying to figure out who Paul Ryan served as a congressman for. Is everybody ready? Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Randall saying Wisconsin. Nick says Ohio.
right.
Matt says Minnesota. Logan, Texas. Nate crossed out Florida and wrote down Texas. Steve says Minnesota. The correct answer is Wisconsin. Randall got that one right.
I had that written down. I wrote down Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota.
The cookbook also had meatloaf
Wham.
recipes from other politicians such as Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Ryan's was the only one that featured venison, though. He's an avid bow hunter, spending most of his deer hunting time in his home state of Wisconsin and Oklahoma, where his in-laws own a ranch.
He, when he was interviewed as a vice presidential candidate as to what his favorite thing to read was, he said, quality deer management.
Oh, I didn't know that about him. He's also famously got a picture of a bow drawn back in while he's sitting in his office.
And he once told an interviewer that the two landmarks that were most core to his identity were his tree stand and the local Catholic church.
Wow.
See, I've wanted to have him on the show, and now it's not going to look good. Can you give me the point and make it look like I got it right?
We will make
It's
sure
gonna
to
look bad.
remind him that Steve
look
didn't
bad.
know where he was
St.
from.
Vianney Parish, I
I
believe.
mean, I know, but I just kind of forgot for a minute. You know what I mean?
You knew 3 states that he could be from. Question
Yeah, but
7.
then I knew it wasn't one of them. I had it down to 2.
The topic is conservation. IWVC stands for Blank Wildlife Violator Compact. IWVC stands for Blank Wildlife Violator Compact, and the topic is conservation. This is question 7. Randall has now separated himself from Randall and Steve with 3 questions to go.
You made it sound like I dissociated there.
4 questions to go. Trying to figure out what the I stands for in IWVC. Nate, do you have this one right?
65%.
Okay, you got a word that starts with an I?
Yup.
All right, got a chance. IWVC stands for Blank Wildlife Violator Compact. Is everybody ready? Go ahead and reveal your answers.
What's the C stand for? Because what's the I stand for and everything?
We have Randall saying interstate.
Well, I think it did go international because
says
they added some
interstate.
Canadian provinces.
Matt says international. Logan says international. Nate says interstate. Steve says international.
Because they add some provinces.
The correct answer is interstate.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, it's not international.
Man, I messed my board up. I thought it was because they like. Damn,
you really did.
They added some Canadian provinces.
But they didn't change the name of the thing.
Like
Multiple
a
states.
college kid with some apartment drywall there.
Multiple states started working on the Interstate Wildlife Violator Compact in the 1980s, but it wasn't until 1999 when the database was built. Its purpose is to alert all other states when someone loses hunting and fishing privileges in one state. This often means violators will be treated like violators across the country. Hawaii and Massachusetts were the final states to join the compact in 2022.
See, when I hosted trivia the other day, I had a question about how many were in there.
Oh.
And I cut it because it was the status of those two. Like they'd passed the legislation empowering the Fish and Game Agency, but it.
So I actually think there may be a correction coming on this in the future because Massachusetts, it was clear that they did join.
Yeah.
Hawaii, like you said, it was passed, and then I can't find anything else further saying that it was actually put into action. So the best I can tell is that Hawaii is part of it, but there is a chance that they're not.
And I didn't want to get correction emails for my episode.
It was in
so I left it out.
2021 that they had approved to join. In
Phil, can you tell everybody who I am beating?
I'd love to, yeah.
We're at question 8. We'll get a scoreboard update after this.
Can we talk about me and Randall's friendship again?
The
talk about
topic
it at the
is
break.
fishing. The Sea of Cortez is more commonly known by this name. This is question 8. The topic is fishing. The Sea of Cortez is more commonly known by this name. Randall and Steve are at their whiteboards. Matt is joining them as well. Randall looks unsure of himself for the first time in a little while. We'll get a scoreboard update from Phil after this. What are you so amused about over there, Logan?
Oh, I just know so few sea names.
Okay.
I wrote down the one that I knew.
There's only 7 of
And
them.
he's the only surfer in the room, but he doesn't know his seas.
Man, if I wouldn't have screwed up those 2, dude.
Same here.
If I would have screwed up, 20% of the questions,
The Sea of Cortez is more commonly known by this name. I also like how Steve declared that last question to be dumb because every time there's an I, it's international.
Well, not every. I mean, well, it should be. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think there's some Canadian provinces.
If that's not the case, it should be.
Your reasoning made sense to me so much so that my heart rate spiked.
I checked that it actually maybe isn't that.
Okay, you do that. Does everyone have an answer for question 8? The Sea of Cortez is more commonly known by this name. Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Randall saying Gulf of California. Nick says Baja. Matt says Baja Sea. Logan says Caspian Sea. Nate says Gulf of Mexico. Steve says Baja
You mean
California.
America?
The correct answer is the Gulf of California.
Oh, damn.
The Sea of Cortez
Randall's
name.
kicking everybody's ass.
The Sea
I'm
of
gonna start rooting for Randall.
He may have wrapped it up with 2 questions to go.
My God.
The Sea of Cortez name comes from explorer Hernan Cortez, who helped the Spanish claim the area in the 16th century. It's also been called the Vermilion Sea or the World's Aquarium, a nickname given to it by oceanographer Jacques Cousteau. Phil, give us a scoreboard update with 2 questions left.
Well, with
Randall.
3, 3, and 1
Nate.
point respectively, Logan, Nick, and Matt are out of the running, but they have been defeated handily by Steven Rinella, who has 4 points.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And then
Who am I beating? Oh, okay.
in second place is Nate with 5, and in first place with 7 is Randall Williams.
Oh
Nate
my
can still
God,
catch up to
Dr.
Randall
Randall.
technically.
Can I team up with Nate just to close her out?
I don't want to be on your team.
Question. You didn't dress well enough today. Question 9, the topic is gear, and this next great question is via Caleb Stevens.
I'm not coming down here and playing no more.
These YouTubers set 8 Guinness World Records for archery in 2022, including the record for the world's longest archery shot to hit a target. This is question 9. The topic is gear. These YouTubers set 8 Guinness World Records for archery in 2022, including the record for the world's longest archery shot to hit a target. If Randall gets this one right, he will have wrapped up the game. Randall, do you have this one right?
I do.
Okay. Nate, do you have this one right?
I think.
Okay.
I knew.
doesn't
If
matter.
you remember, I knew I wouldn't win. Remember that? Because I was saying if it was the morning, I'd win.
That's right. Here he is now, only 3 answers
Goes to
short
show.
of our leader.
That should count as getting one right, knowing that I would win.
Know thyself.
Does everyone have an answer? These YouTubers set 8 Guinness World Records for archery in 2022, including the record for the world's longest archery shot to hit a target. Logan, you ready? Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Randall saying, Dude Perfect. Nick says Robin Hood and Little John. Matt says Dude Perfect. Logan says Extreme Archery. Nate, Dude Perfect. Steve, Dude Perfect. The correct answer is Dude Perfect. That archery shot was 361 yards.
Goodness
the other
gracious.
archery records Dude Perfect set include most balloons burst simultaneously by arrows.
But these are things that they beat or that they just made up.
Well, Guinness was there to recognize them, and so I think they were already records that existed that they beat.
Oh, they were.
Here are the other ones they beat. Farthest distance to hit a target while looking in a mirror. Fastest moving target hit with an arrow. Farthest target hit by bouncing an arrow off water. And greatest height to shoot and catch an arrow. So they set all those world records. We have one question left, and Randall has got himself the victory already. We'll finish the game anyway. Question 10, the topic is hunting. This is our listener question of the week, which was won by David Appleton for sending this great question. David is going to get a board game signed by the crew. If you want a chance to win the listener question of the week, then send your question to trivia@themeateater.com. The topic is hunting. Name 2 of the 5 states with the most acres enrolled in the USDA's CRP program. Name 2 of the 5 states with the most acres enrolled in the USDA's CRP program. For the Dude Perfect world record of greatest height to shoot and catch an arrow, I had to go watch that. The arrow was not a traditional arrow. It had a blunt end on it that had just like a giant piece of rubber. So no one was going to lose any eyes or fingers that day. Again, question 10, name 2 of the 5 states with the most acres enrolled in the USDA CRP program. Nate, are you ready?
Yep.
Go ahead and reveal your answers. We have Randall saying Minnesota, Kansas. Nick says Wyoming, Nebraska. Matt says Montana, Wyoming. Logan, Montana, Wyoming. Nate, California, South Dakota. Steve, North Dakota, South Dakota.
A lot of disagreements in this room.
Yeah.
No one's got the same answer.
The 5 states, I think Matt and Logan do. The 5 states are Colorado, South Dakota, Nebraska, Texas, and Kansas.
I was close.
Did anybody get that?
Nobody got it.
Nobody.
Wow.
got the question.
Randall falters in the end.
Correct.
I would have traded
That's
my
the
board
headline.
for yours once I saw yours there.
As of November
Randall.
2024, Colorado leads the country in acres of enrolled CRP with just shy of 3 million. That's followed by South Dakota at 2.6 million acres, Nebraska at 2.4, Texas at 2.2, and Kansas at 2. Those 5 states have 47% of the nation's 26 million acres that are enrolled in CRP.
If I was a sports writer who covered this trivia game,
Yep.
I'd have a headline like seemingly unbeatable Randall shows cracks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're setting the stage.
On the 0%er.
You know what I'm saying?
You're setting the stage for him to really have a bad spring.
Because people be like, yeah, I don't want to read about Randall winning again.
yeah.
But I'd write that headline and get
That's
people be like, oh, Randall's showing
Yeah,
signs
we'll
of
see what
crack.
happens in the next game.
Randall's crack.
Phil, give
The
us one
trend
last
continues.
scoreboard update before Randall makes his donation.
We've got Nick with 3 points. Logan with 3 as well. Matt had 2. Nate had 6. Steve had 5. And Randall was in first place with 8.
And in the world of sports, Phil has himself what's that called, Randall?
Telestrator.
A telestrator over there.
I've
He's
never used it before. I
circled-
thought this would be the first.
He circled
good,
Steve's
good first
5.
Is it over?
And as
over.
in most
It's over and Randall won.
The
most
game is
good
over.
telestrations, it vaguely resembles an anatomy.
That's right.
Not on purpose.
As the winner with 8 correct answers, Randall gets to make the $500 donation from MeatEater. Randall, where's that money going to go?
This one comes to us from Brandon Lure or Lure.
Okay.
He would like me to donate to the Back River Restoration Committee, which works on Chesapeake Bay watershed quality issues.
There's a new
they
one.
do fantastic work, and he's got a video here that shows some of the work they do. So he noted that I don't give the East Coast
Oh,
enough
wow.
money,
Okay.
and I took that to heart. And so there you go, Brandon.
$500 going where?
This whole
What's
thing
it
that
called
Randall's
again?
got going on right now, like he's like gives so much money away that like people are like, Randall, please.
Oh, yeah. He's a real Robin Hood
Come
over
on.
here. Tell us
Nick,
the
are
name
you
of the
been getting
organization.
queries knowing you're coming on? Suggestions about what to do with your winnings?
It's the
Not a single one.
It's the Back River Restoration Committee.
Back River Restoration Committee, $500 going their way via MeatEater and Randall.
yeah, old faucets over there.
Hey, who knows? Someday maybe I'll have a tailor in Korea.
Join us next week for more MeatEater Trivia, the only game show where conservation always wins.
Yeah, Spencer from South Dakota, he's the host. Using those smooth, mellow tones, he lays them questions down. And he likes taking those 2- and 3-year-old bucks. And he's an avid amateur rock